If you are over 60 and you believe that walking is the best thing you can do for your body, you may want to stop for a moment and pay close attention, because what you are about to hear could completely reshape how you think about aging, strength, energy, and even how long and how well you live. For many years, walking has been promoted as the safest and most effective form of exercise for older adults. And yes, walking is still beneficial. It keeps you moving, supports circulation, and helps maintain basic activity levels. But recent research, along with real-world observations from physical therapists and longevity experts, is revealing something far more important. There is a simple movement that, for people over 60, delivers greater overall benefits than walking alone. Yet, most seniors are not doing it at all. This movement doesn't require a gym, expensive equipment, or advanced fitness. You don't need to be in shape to begin. In fact, you can start today in just a few minutes using only a chair. And if done correctly and consistently, it can help rebuild muscle strength, protect your joints, improve balance, support heart health, sharpen cognitive function, and significantly reduce the risk of falls, disability, and loss of independence. Before we go deeper, welcome. If you are new here, this channel is dedicated to simple, science-based guidance for healthy, strong, and independent living after 50 and beyond. And if you've been here before, it's good to have you back. What you are about to learn is not just another fitness idea. It is one of the most important shifts in understanding how the aging body actually works. So I encourage you to stay with me until the end, because I will not only show you the exercise that outperforms walking for seniors, but also explain exactly how to perform it safely, how often to do it, and how to adjust it even if you have knee pain, back issues, or low energy. Now let's begin with an honest question. Have you ever noticed that even if you walk regularly, your legs still feel weak, your balance doesn't feel as stable as it used to, and your energy doesn't last the way it once did? If so, you are not alone. Millions of older adults walk every day yet continue to struggle with fatigue, joint stiffness, and muscle loss. The reason is simple, but often overlooked. Walking is a repetitive forward motion activity. It mainly trains a limited set of muscles and does not sufficiently challenge the body in a way that prevents age-related muscle loss, known as sarcopenia. After the age of 60, this muscle loss accelerates unless we actively work against it. And muscle is not just about strength or appearance. Muscle is what protects your joints, stabilizes your posture, supports your bones, regulates blood sugar, and allows you to move confidently through daily life. Without it, even simple tasks like standing up, climbing stairs, or carrying groceries become increasingly difficult. But here is something most people don't realize. One of the strongest predictors of whether someone will remain independent in their 70s, 80s, and beyond is not their weight, cholesterol, or even daily step count. It is leg strength, balance control, and the ability to move from sitting to standing with ease. And that brings us directly to the exercise that changes everything. It is called the chair squat. It may sound simple, almost too simple to matter, but do not underestimate it. This movement, standing up and sitting down from a chair with control, is one of the most powerful strength-building exercises for older adults. It activates the largest muscles in your body, including your thighs, hips, glutes, core, and lower back. These are the exact muscles responsible for walking, climbing stairs, preventing falls, and maintaining independence. Unlike walking, which can become easier over time without building much additional strength, chair squats continuously challenge your body in a controlled and safe way. They don't just maintain movement, they build functional strength. Let's break this down clearly. Every time you stand up from a chair, you are lifting nearly your full body weight against gravity. That is real resistance, real strength training. Walking does not do this in the same way because one foot is always on the ground, reducing the load on your muscles. This is why someone can walk daily and still struggle to stand up from a low chair. It is not laziness. It is simply that walking alone does not train the body for the real demands of daily life. Now, if you are worried that this sounds too difficult or risky, especially for your knees or back, there is important reassurance. The chair squat is actually one of the safest strength exercises you can perform when done correctly. Physical therapists around the world use it in rehabilitation programs, fall prevention training, and mobility recovery routines. You control everything: your speed, your depth, and your effort. And the chair behind you provides built-in safety. In the next part, we will go step by step into how to perform this movement correctly, safely, and in a way that begins rebuilding strength from day one. Let's continue from here, because understanding how to do this movement correctly is what makes the difference between simple motion and real transformation. The chair squat, when performed properly, is not just an exercise. It becomes a controlled strength building pattern that retrains your body for real life movement. And the good news is that you can start at your own level without forcing anything beyond what feels safe. Here is how to perform it step by step. Begin by sitting on the edge of a sturdy chair. Make sure your feet are flat on the floor, placed roughly shoulder width apart. Keep your posture upright with your chest gently lifted and your shoulders relaxed. Your eyes should face forward, not downward, because your spine follows your gaze. Now, before you move, engage your awareness. This is not about rushing. It is about control. Slightly lean forward from your hips. This small shift is important because it prepares your body to use your legs instead of relying on momentum. Then, press through your heels and slowly begin to stand up. Do not hurry this movement. Your body should rise with intention, not speed. As you reach a standing position, stay tall for a moment without locking your knees. Keep your body stable and balanced. Then, reverse the movement slowly. Bend at your hips and knees and lower yourself back down with control until you gently touch the chair again. That completes one repetition. If you need support at the beginning, it is completely fine to lightly use the armrests or place your hands on your thighs. This is not a test of strength. It is a process of rebuilding it. As your confidence improves, you can reduce assistance and eventually cross your arms over your chest to increase difficulty. Now, here is something important to understand. Research shows that the ability to perform sit-to-stand movements is closely linked to longevity and independence. In fact, how many times a person can stand up and sit down in a short time window is often used as a simple indicator of functional aging. It reflects not just muscle strength, but also balance, coordination, and nervous system efficiency. This is why this movement is so powerful. It is not isolated to one muscle. It reflects your entire body's ability to function as a coordinated system. Now compare this again to walking. Walking is steady and rhythmic, but it does not demand the same level of force production. Your body is supported most of the time. Because of this, walking alone often fails to stop the gradual loss of muscle strength that naturally happens with age. Chair squats, on the other hand, force your muscles to actively lift your body against gravity. That difference is critical. It is the reason this simple movement can create noticeable improvements in strength, stability, and confidence in daily life. And something even more important happens when you practice it consistently. Your cardiovascular system begins to respond. Your heart rate increases in a controlled way. Blood circulation improves. Oxygen delivery becomes more efficient. Over time, this contributes not only to stronger muscles, but also to better endurance and energy throughout the day. But the benefits go even deeper than that. When you activate large muscle groups like the legs and hips, your body releases natural signaling proteins called myokines. These travel through your bloodstream and support inflammation control, insulin sensitivity, brain health, and metabolic balance. This means you are not just exercising your muscles, you are influencing your entire internal system in a positive way. Another critical area this movement improves is balance. Many serious injuries in older adults come from falls, and most of those falls happen during simple transitions like standing up, turning, or adjusting posture. Chair squats directly train this exact ability. Every controlled rise and descent teaches your nervous system how to stabilize your body. Over time, this improves coordination and reduces the fear of losing balance in everyday situations. Now let's talk about how often you should do this. There is no complicated formula. Start small and stay consistent. If you are new, even 5 repetitions can be enough. If you feel stronger, you may begin with 10 or 15. The key is not quantity, it is comfort and control. You can perform this once a day or at least 3 to 4 times per week. Consistency matters far more than intensity. Your body responds best to regular, gentle reinforcement rather than occasional strain. And here is something encouraging. Many people in their 70s and even 80s who initially struggle to stand up without support have seen significant improvement within just a few weeks of consistent practice. They begin standing more smoothly, walking more confidently, and feeling a noticeable difference in their everyday mobility. This is not about becoming athletic. This is about restoring independence. Walking still plays an important role. It supports cardiovascular health, mental clarity, and general activity. But when walking is your only form of movement, you are missing the critical element of strength training. And without strength, everything else becomes harder over time. In the next part, we will go deeper into how this movement affects your heart, brain, and long-term health, and why it may be one of the most underestimated exercises for healthy aging. As we continue, it becomes important to understand that the chair squat is not only a lower body exercise. Its impact goes much deeper, reaching into your heart, brain, metabolism, and overall long-term health in ways that walking alone cannot fully achieve. When you repeatedly stand up and sit down with control, your heart is no longer working at a gentle, steady pace like it does during walking. Instead, it is challenged in short, meaningful bursts. This kind of demand helps improve cardiovascular efficiency over time. Your heart learns to respond more effectively to changes in effort, which supports better endurance in daily life. At the same time, your circulation improves. Blood flow becomes more efficient, meaning oxygen and nutrients are delivered more effectively throughout your body. This is one of the reasons many people begin to notice they feel less tired during routine activities after practicing this movement regularly. But the benefits are not limited to the cardiovascular system. One of the most powerful effects of strength-based movement, like chair squats, is its influence on metabolism. When large muscle groups, such as the thighs, hips, and glutes, are activated, your body becomes more efficient at using energy. This helps support healthy blood sugar regulation and can improve insulin sensitivity over time. This is especially important after 60, when metabolic processes naturally begin to slow. Maintaining muscle activity becomes a key factor in maintaining energy balance and reducing the risk of metabolic decline. Now, let's talk about something even more fascinating, your brain. Every time you perform a controlled movement like a chair squat, your brain is actively involved. It is constantly sending signals to your muscles, adjusting balance, and coordinating movement patterns. This strengthens the connection between your nervous system and your muscles. Over time, this improved communication can support better coordination, quicker reactions, and sharper physical. In simple terms, your body and brain begin working together more efficiently. And this is where something very important happens. When you challenge your muscles in a meaningful way, your body releases special signaling molecules called myokines. These are produced by active muscles and travel through your bloodstream, influencing other organs in the body. These myokines are associated with reduced inflammation, improved insulin function, and even support for brain health. They are one of the key reasons resistance-based movements, like chair squats, offer benefits that go beyond simple calorie burning. Walking does activate some of these processes, but not at the same intensity. Chair squats create a stronger stimulus because they demand more force and coordination from your body. Now, let's bring the focus back to something very practical and important: balance and fall prevention. Falls are one of the most serious risks for older adults, not because of the fall itself alone, but because of the consequences that follow. A single fall can lead to reduced mobility, loss of confidence, and long recovery periods. Most falls happen during everyday transitions, standing up from a chair, getting out of bed, or shifting position too quickly. Chair squats directly train this exact movement pattern. Each repetition teaches your body how to stabilize itself while moving from a seated to a standing position. Your muscles, joints, and nervous system all learn to work together under controlled conditions. Over time, this builds confidence and reduces hesitation during daily movement. That mental confidence is just as important as physical strength. When you trust your body, you move more freely. When you hesitate, you become less active, and that lack of movement can slowly reduce strength over time. Now, let's address an important question many people have. How often should this be done for real results? The answer is simple, but it must be consistent. You do not need extreme effort. You need regular practice. Start with what feels manageable. For some, that may be just a few repetitions. For others, it may be slightly more. The exact number is less important than the habit itself. Doing this movement 3 to 4 times per week is often enough to begin noticing changes. Some people prefer daily practice, even if it is only a small number of repetitions. Both approaches can work as long as the movement is done with control and consistency. What matters most is that your muscles are regularly reminded to stay active. Without that reminder, the body gradually adapts to inactivity and strength slowly declines. And here is something worth emphasizing. Even small improvements matter. Standing up more easily, feeling steadier when walking, needing less support from furniture. These changes may seem minor at first, but they are strong indicators that your body is responding positively. Now, as powerful as this exercise is, it is not meant to completely replace walking. Walking still plays an important role in maintaining heart health, reducing stress, and supporting mental well-being. But walking alone does not provide enough resistance to maintain or rebuild muscle strength effectively. That is where chair squats become essential. Together, walking and chair squats create a balanced approach. One supports endurance and circulation, while the other builds strength and stability. When combined, they provide a more complete foundation for healthy aging. In the next part, we will focus on how to perform this movement safely if you have knee pain, back discomfort, or limited mobility, and how small adjustments can make it accessible for almost anyone. Now that you understand the deeper benefits of the chair squat, it's important to focus on something just as critical as the exercise itself: safety and adaptation. Because the truth is, no matter how effective a movement is, it only works if it can be done in a way that respects your current body condition. Many people over 60 hesitate when they hear about exercises like this, not because they doubt the benefits, but because they worry about their knees, their lower back, or simply the fact that they haven't been active for a long time. These concerns are completely valid and they should never be ignored. The good news is that the chair squat is highly adjustable. It does not demand perfection. It meets you exactly where you are. If your knees are sensitive, you do not need to go all the way down or fully stand up in a deep range. You only move within the range that feels comfortable. Even a partial movement still activates your muscles and begins the process of rebuilding strength. If your lower back feels stiff, the key is to keep your chest gently lifted and avoid rounding your spine. The movement should come from your hips, not your back. Slowing everything down also helps reduce strain and improves control. And if you are starting after a long period of inactivity, there is no need to rush. Even 3 or 4 controlled repetitions can be enough in the beginning. What matters is not intensity, but consistency and safe repetition. One of the most important principles to remember is this: your muscles respond best to gentle, repeated signals, not sudden bursts of effort. You are not trying to push your body beyond its limits. You are reminding it that strength is still needed. Now let's talk about something that often gets overlooked but makes a huge difference in how your body responds: breathing. Breathing correctly during this movement can significantly improve stability and comfort. As you stand up, gently exhale through your mouth. As you lower yourself down, inhale slowly through your nose. This pattern helps engage your core muscles, supports your spine, and keeps your movement more controlled. It also prevents unnecessary tension, especially in the neck and shoulders, allowing your body to move more naturally. Another important factor is how you integrate this exercise into your daily life. The most effective routines are not the ones that feel like separate tasks, but the ones that blend into your normal habits. You can perform chair squats before breakfast, while waiting for water to boil, or even during short breaks while watching television. When an exercise becomes part of your routine environment, it becomes easier to maintain long term. Consistency is what transforms this simple movement into real physical change. Now, let's address something deeper that affects many older adults, even if it is not always spoken about openly: fear of falling. As people age, the fear of falling often becomes stronger than the physical risk itself. This fear can quietly reduce movement. People begin avoiding stairs, sitting more often, or limiting their activities. Over time, this leads to reduced strength, which actually increases the risk they were trying to avoid. Chair squats help break this cycle in a safe and controlled environment. You are practicing the exact movement of standing up and sitting down, but with full control and support. There is no unpredictability. There is no sudden loss of balance, just structured, repeatable motion. With each repetition, your confidence builds. And that confidence matters as much as muscle strength. Because when you trust your body, you use it more. And when you use it more, it becomes stronger. Let's also understand why this exercise is so gentle on the joints when done correctly. Unlike high impact movements, chair squats do not involve jumping or sudden force. Instead, your muscles absorb most of the load. This means your knees and hips are supported by the surrounding muscle groups rather than being stressed directly. This is why physical therapists often recommend this movement for rehabilitation and mobility improvement. It builds strength without unnecessary impact. Still, it is important to be honest. If you experience sharp pain, dizziness, or discomfort that feels unusual, you should stop and adjust. Mild muscle effort is normal. Pain is not something to ignore. Your body always communicates its limits, and listening to it is part of progress. Now, let's return briefly to walking, because this is where balance matters. Walking is still extremely valuable. It supports your heart, improves circulation, reduces stress, and helps maintain general activity levels. But walking alone does not provide enough resistance to rebuild the strength that naturally declines with age. That is why chair squats are so important. They fill the gap that walking leaves behind. When combined, walking and chair squats create a much more complete system. One supports endurance and mental clarity, while the other rebuilds strength and stability. Together, they give your body both movement and power. In the next part, we will focus on how to turn this movement into a simple daily routine that takes just 5 minutes, and how small adjustments in speed and technique can dramatically increase results without adding difficulty. At this point, you understand what the chair squat is, why it matters, and how to perform it safely. Now, we need to bring everything together into something practical, something you can actually follow in real life without confusion or complexity. Because knowledge alone does not change your body, action does. And the simpler that action is, the more likely it is to become a permanent part of your life. Let's turn this into a clear, realistic daily routine. You do not need long workouts. You do not need complicated plans. You only need a few minutes of focused movement that your body can consistently respond to. Start with a simple structure. Once you are ready, sit on a sturdy chair and perform your chair squat slowly and with control. Begin with 5 repetitions if you are new or returning after a long break. If you feel comfortable, you can increase to 10 or even 15 repetitions over time. The key is not the number itself. The key is how controlled each movement is. Every repetition should feel intentional, not rushed. Now, here is something important that many people overlook. Speed changes everything. If you perform the movement quickly, it becomes less effective and less controlled. But if you slow it down, especially during the lowering phase, your muscles are forced to work harder. This creates a stronger training effect without increasing strain. For example, try this simple adjustment. Take about 3 seconds to sit down. 1, 2, 3. Then stand up with control. This small change dramatically increases muscle engagement while keeping the exercise safe. Another simple progression is adding a short pause. When you are standing, pause for 1 second before sitting down again. This brief moment forces your muscles to stabilize your body, improving both strength and balance control over time. These small adjustments may seem minor, but they create significant improvements when done consistently. Now let's build this into a full 5-minute routine. You can begin with a gentle warm-up just by standing up and sitting down slowly a few times. Then move into your main set of chair squats, focusing on controlled movement and steady breathing. Finish with a short moment of standing still, allowing your body settle. That's it. No equipment, no floor exercises, no complexity. Just consistent functional movement that trains your body for real-life tasks. And here is where something very important happens over time. After a few weeks of consistent practice, many people begin noticing subtle but meaningful changes. Standing up feels easier. Walking feels more stable. The need to support yourself with furniture decreases. Daily fatigue begins to reduce slightly. These are not dramatic overnight transformations. They are gradual signs that your body is responding and rebuilding. And you should pay attention to those small signs because they are the foundation of long-term improvement. Now, let's talk about a very common mistake that can slow down progress. Many people either do too much too soon or do too little too inconsistently. Both approaches limit results. The body does not respond well to occasional intensity. It responds best to steady repetition over time. Doing 5 controlled repetitions every day will often produce better results than doing 20 repetitions once in a while. Consistency always wins over intensity in long-term strength building. Another mistake is ignoring form. If movements become rushed or uncontrolled, the benefits decrease and the risk of discomfort increases. Slow, steady, and balanced movement is always more effective than fast, careless repetition. Now let's bring in something important that connects everything together, awareness. As you